Everyone, welcome to NPU Live. I'm Carrie Rodriguez.
And I'm Tim Langen.
This is August 21st, 2020. It's Friday.
It is Friday.
We made it through yet another week.
That's right.
Slowly closing out month 5 of the pandemic as we get ready for back to school.
Good job, everyone.
Yeah, are we congratulating people right now? Man, this is just like a slow march. Slow march. I don't know about you guys, but the road has been long and it is getting longer. But we are going to brighten our spirits this morning by talking to some friends and family from across the country, checking in with New York. Yeah, emerge. Once again, resume emails. I don't even know anymore. I don't think they know either. But you know, Sharif El-Mekki comes with the memes sometimes that like just hit you. They're a little too close to home, and he had one of you know how everybody loves those little signs about like today is the first day of school in 2020 and 2021. I don't know what day it is or what grade I'm going into, right. But yeah, I guess we're starting something.
Here we are.
I don't know. Should we be doing that? I wonder if we should be. I'm feeling like, you know, you see something on the internet, you see other folks doing it, and I feel a little pressure.
Yeah, we go.
Mommy pressure.
Yeah, we'll get some signs.
We'll get some signs. You know, welcome to homeschool.
Whatever the hell this
2020. We're also still trying to name our homeschool.
That's right.
And we've gotten some really incredible suggestions.
We did. Why don't you keep talking? I'll bring them up. And if you have suggestions, send them to info@npu.org.
We feel like we need to name the micro school or the homeschool pod, or I don't know. We've been calling the kids pod people.
Did you post it? You posted that, right?
Yeah.
That was you? Yeah, you were the funny one.
No. You were the one.
I was funny? I'm not that funny.
Oh my gosh. So I have to say the top. The best name I've seen so far is Motrin Elementary.
Motrin Elementary, that was a good one.
Motrin Elementary.
Ooh, I've been very talkative this week on Facebook.
Yes, you have. You've just been posting it up on Facebook.
Well, you know, I'm not gonna lie. The people are getting on my nerves. I gotta tell you.
Yeah.
People are getting on my nerves. Apparently, this guy's getting on my nerves.
There it is.
That guy's getting on my nerves. Let's see. A lot of people get on my nerves. Let's see. Do you spell burnt toast?
Do you smell burnt toast?
Is the name of one pod.
Burnt Toast Elementary.
That's right. Little Rascals, 6-pack, because there's six.
There's six
kids. 6 the hard way. Middlesex Langan Academy. Nope. Motrin is girl. Let's see here. Crips and Bloods. We're not going with that one, guys. Settle down. I'm not gonna.
Not in our neighborhood. You can't do it.
Burnt toast. Wasn't there another one though? There was a funny one with
Motrin Elementary. I think.
Survival of the fittest.
So yeah, name our homeschool pod, micro school, little mini school. We need a name. I feel very strange that we don't have a name for our school. You know. I know. We need to build that sense of community.
I know. I'm just showing up. I'm just providing the kids. That's all I'm doing.
And it was very funny. We took a picture yesterday and put up on our personal Facebook pages a picture of what cafeteria time looks like. Because we actually set up in the kitchen. We got a bigger table so everybody can sit down at the table at one time. And like, we're trying to like foster a sense of like structure, community.
Yeah, something we've been missing for 5 months. Not a refugee camp.
That's right, and not like every man for themselves, like huddled in the corner, looking for a charger. That was not working for our family.
Hiding chips in the couch.
Yeah,
like a chipmunk. Get a grip, people. Sometimes I feel like I'm living an episode of Oz. The HBO prison show, not the magical Wonderland.
There are no munchkins
waiting for Adebisi to show up in the kitchen.
It's been a rough week. It's been a super rough week. It's been so rough. And I think we're cracking it because it's the end of summer too.
That's
and
right.
Like this is usually the home stretch. And then like everybody's so excited here in Somerville, Massachusetts, you know, it's been interesting, but trying to set up and foster the sense of community. We got a big old table and we took a picture and we put it up. We should put it up on the Facebook Live too, because I think it's pretty funny. But in our pod, which is very intersectional, again, you got whites, you got Latinos, you got low income kids, you got 4 IEPs, but you have 5 boys and 1 girl. So it's a lot. And so there's this beautiful picture of Olivia, who is the young lady of the pod.
Yep. She
is the podette. You don't like that one.
Well, can I say one thing, because we're getting some chat there. As the world is unstable today, so is our internet connection. So if you see us freeze, please be patient.
We'll be right back.
Chances are you've been in the same pandemic we are. You've dealt with worse.
That's right.
And you get to look at our pretty faces frozen.
Probably make it a weird face, but
okay, go ahead,
a lot of concern about our podette, Olivia. So I wanted to allay some of those concerns. Olivia is probably tougher than any of the other little flowers of the pod. Okay,
yeah,
so
she's fine.
Let's just say this. Olivia is biologically related to me. So she's not here for any BS from little boys.
That's okay.
Or really anyone.
Feel free to speak your mind. My kids don't watch the show anyway.
That's
it's okay. You won't hurt their delicate snowflake
But yeah, so don't worry about Olivia. She's got this. She's all set. And she is running things over at the pod. So yes, she one little girl. She's one of the oldest of the clique. She's a 4th grader, and so she'll be in 4th grade with Max. Miles will be in 3rd grade. David and Dylan will be in 2nd grade, and Matthew will be in 7th grade. So
big deal.
Cool.
Big deal. Junior high, a lot of changes.
A lot going on. So for now, we're going with Motrin Elementary. We'd love to hear from you. We want a creative name for our little school. What are you calling your school? Are you actually even calling your setup a homeschool pod or a micro school? Like, does that even connect with you? Like, I have all of these people asking me all the time about homeschool pods and all of these other things, and that's not like a natural thing for me to call what we're doing.
Dude, can you help the technologically challenged? How do I post a picture of this?
So yeah, so
you do
it
this.
Should be, well, you're.
So listen, parents.
Yeah, I'll do this.
It's gonna be okay. Okay, we're gonna get through this together. One thing, when you see this picture of these beautiful children on Facebook, having a nice calm lunch. I'm big on like the lies between the pictures. Like, everyone looks serene, everyone looks really happy. I was gonna post it right in the comments.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll just oh, well, never mind, I could do that then. You know, it's a big lie, because they're nice during lunch. I think they're pretty good during the day.
Well, it's like those pictures you take in the fall, and everybody's walking down the path, and
everyone's
smiling
fun.
and adoring each other.
Every couple is great. Everyone's going to the gym. Everyone's in great shape.
No.
Holding hands. You don't see that. You don't see the couples fighting themselves.
No. You don't see the argument it took to get everybody wearing the same damn shirt.
That's right. Or to wear a shirt.
Or to find their shoes, frankly.
That's right. I don't know where they are.
Yeah.
Do you know where the 2 balls are in your head? They're called eyeballs. Use them. Here, I get this, honey. I get this.
I can't do it.
Go
anyway,
rally the troops.
This
is real.
The family struggle is real. Family life is real, and you know, that's what's great about the National Parents Union. We struggle together.
We do.
But again,
sometimes to put on shirts, sometimes to know how to use phones and post pictures. It's okay.
I don't know. I don't even know.
But no matter what you think is wrong with us, the fact is we're all parents, and clearly we need your help. So you should go on the nationalparentsunion.org website and join us.
And if you're as crazy as we are, you'll
come
fit
on.
right in.
Maybe you can tell us how to use a phone and post a picture. Maybe you can tell. Maybe you can tell Max how to wear my oldest son how to wear 2 shoes instead of 1.
Or what a sheet is.
Or what a sheet is, or where the pillows go on the bed. What is a bed? So I'll tell you a funny story.
We saw a rat in the street.
Well, yeah. So I've kids. We got 5 boys. Running around like animals, and they like to leave the doors open. I don't mean like the interior doors. I mean like the front door, the back door. If there's a door, they'll open it up.
We live in a barn in the middle of the city.
Live in the barn in the middle of the city. Because everyone is staying home and chowing down, our particular area has a rockin' rat problem. I mean, there's always been rats in the city.
Yeah, and it's tough. Like these are the kinds of tough conversations we have to have in our house living
It's
in the
deep.
city.
It's deep.
Because last night, and I'm gonna tell on Tim. I'm
Just go
glad
ahead.
that
I'm
our
gonna try to
internet
post
is
this picture again.
now stable. Because you're
I'm
not gonna
not.
want to miss this. So last night, my and well, yesterday morning he had taken out some recycling. He sees a rat. And then the bag brushed his feet, so he made this ungodly
I can't
scream.
even imitate the sound.
Whew.
You thought I sneezed.
I thought it was like high pitched, like there was something going on. It was a loud noise. And he can be a little extra when he sneezes, so I was just like, oh, he must be sneezing, because he does the theatrical sneeze. Anyway, anyway, I thought that was what was happening. No, it was Tim fearing that a rat had grazed his foot and was squealing in the driveway.
It was a squeal, but there was also like a guttural, like it was a deep squeal, if that's possible. I couldn't do the sound again. I've never done it in my life.
So then last night, he goes to take out the trash. And he has the bag. He goes outside.
Oh, I forgot about this part.
Makes it to the top of because we have like an elevated porch, and then there's some stairs you walk down to get to the trash barrel. So we're above the rats, thankfully. Well, at least at your house. So like we're above, and he gets to the top of the stairs, and there's rustling. Like you can hear the rats. Like the rats are so like crazy that you can hear them rustling, because like they're getting ready to throw down in the driveway, and you see them like shooting across. It was crazy town.
I run back into the house. I'm like, screw this.
He's like, nope,
recycling's done. So if anyone has ever seen the movie A Quiet Place, there's a great scene at the beginning where there's a kid who makes a sound, and you hear this rustling in the brush, and it's this monster that's running at the kid. And the guy who plays Jim from The Office, John Krasinski, is going to run in to save the kid. I was running in the opposite direction. I was not saving the kid. I was running away from rustling in my house. So
if anyone comes to our home to murder myself or the kids, he will not be. He will not be.
I'll be over there.
He deuces out is what I'm trying to say. So that was really funny.
It was true.
It actually happened because there are so many rats here.
Oh, I ran in.
So that's our rat story. What say you? What's happening in your neck of the woods?
How big are your rats?
How big are the rats that are circling your house?
Are you looking forward to Quiet Place 2? And are you bummed that they just didn't release it on Amazon Prime? It was supposed to be out in March. Damn pandemic.
I feel like we've been talking about rats a lot in this broadcast and during the pandemic, whether it's finding them in your driveway pool or them terrorizing you so you don't leave your house and take the trash out.
Okay, what's the team name we decided on?
The team name? Oh, I'm not sure.
Here, you put the caption. I'll close this out here.
Name our homeschool pod.
Yeah. They should name it Watch Tim Rock Back and Forth and count backwards from 10. So listen, again, jump online, nationalparentsunion.org, the nationalparentsunion.org. You can join us as an individual. You can join us as an organization. There's even a business application if you'd like to work with us in some way. Please join that. Again, nationalparentsunion.org. And if you have any questions, tips, tools, feedback, go to info@npunion.org.
Wow, that's about enough out of you, Tim. I need to connect with my girls this morning. So excited about our guests. It's Friends and Family Friday, and we're welcoming some friends. We're going to start in New York this morning, where Vivette Dukes is joining us. She is the founder and leader of Speak Your Truth. out of New York, and she is the host of Speak Your Truth on the National Parents Union Mondays and Thursdays at 7:30. Both she and her handsome husband, John, putting a lot of work, a lot of effort into speaking to the people on those days, holding it down for us. And we're just so grateful to have her with us. Good morning, Vivette.
Good morning, Carrie. How are you, my dear?
You just heard, girl.
I heard.
Struggle is real. Do you have rats in your neighborhood?
You know, I'm in the city. Of course, we have rats. I mean, we were.
Can you ride yours though? Because we got some big ass rats. Just saying, like.
I just try to stay away from them because they're very brazen. They're very bold. They don't really move when they see you coming. There's so much garbage out of the city now, so they're not just at the train station. They're out and about, scurrying.
Yeah, living their lives. They're like, what are you doing? Like, put your stuff down. Yeah, I'm looking for new trash. Put it down.
They're like, summer 2020, baby. What's good? Like, stay away.
Like, good morning, neighbor. What's up?
You gonna eat that?
Yeah, you gonna eat that? Thanks. I didn't even tell the best story. A couple of months ago, Tim, and we might be freezing up a little bit, but a couple months ago, Tim was out in the yard and lifted up the
Can I
hood.
tell this story? Let me tell this story because I feel driveway pool. Kerry says, you won't believe there's a dead rat in the pool. Dead rat floating in the pool. You know what I do? Throw my grilling gear down. I grab another pair of tongs. I go down with the bag in one hand and tongs in the other, take that rat, put it in the bag, throw it in the trash, go back to grilling.
Oh, in
right.
One felt swoop.
That's right.
I'd say did not miss a beat. He's like, for what?
That's right.
Like,
That's what we
okay, Tim. Okay. Anyway, so that's how we're doing. How are you doing, Vivette? How's life going for y'all?
Life is, I mean, this new normal is kind of kicking in, you know, like you said, the 5th month of the pandemic winding down. Of course, I'm very immersed in all of the back to school conversation and seeing what's going to happen come September 10th, the unofficial start date of back to school. So let's see.
But this is a very different year for you. I mean, as a teacher, like this is usually your like prep time, like where you're really putting a lot of work in, where you're really, getting everything together, making your plans for the year, getting your supplies together, all that kind of stuff. And, now you're kind of, I would assume, trying to prepare, but really not knowing. So what is that like for you and what's going through your head right now?
It's really hard. I miss my students. I miss them, like their energy, being around them. Just going through that is kind of difficult. I normally would be getting ready, buying things to get my classroom, like so many ways that I express myself. I'm not able to. So finding other outlets for that creativity is something I've been trying to do. Just planning remotely to teach remotely and making sure that I bring that same energy to the remote space that I would to the brick and mortar space. So it's a challenge for me. It's different. I've been teaching since 2002. I started as a sub, and this is a very different year. So I don't really have much to draw from to help me get ready for this. It's just best practices, you know?
I don't think that we are maintaining connection. So you know what we're going to do? I'm going to ask Natasha Meggie Madry to jump in to see if she can lead the discussion this morning because our internet is not working correctly. I know that Natasha can definitely jump in to talk to these lovely ladies. So I'm going to ask her to jump in this moment so we can reconnect. and see if we can continue. So let's see if we can get Natasha to hop on. I know that she is there.
Yes,
Hi,
she is.
Natasha. Do you think you can hop on? Because our internet is not stable. And see if we can continue. So.
Hi.
Hi, Yvette.
Hi, Natasha. Just got thrown into talking together, but that's fine.
It's all good. So yeah, so you're getting prepared for school. How's that going for you?
I was saying that it's different challenges because I'm used to, physically going shopping, getting stuff for my classroom, where I'm not doing that this year. So this is my classroom. This is my space. Like, what am I gonna put on this wall? Because it's like my multi-purpose room, living room slash classroom. So just figuring that out and trying to do it in a good headspace and not be anxious about it or fearful. Just like, okay, I'm just doing my best, and I'm gonna make it nice to the kids because that's what I want.
Oh, that's awesome. I know you must miss the kids. They're your babies.
I do miss them. I teach high school English, and people might say, "Oh, high school, yeah," but they're still very much my babies, and I want to really make sure like I hear from them what they've been going through, just to reconnect. Like being in school with kids all day is a lot of fun. I like it
Definitely.
because they're funny. They have a lot of jokes.
Yeah, definitely, for sure. Like my kids are like, I'm excited for them to start school back again, but I don't think they're like really they're not looking forward to like starting this like online learning again. They want to see their friends, and this is like not gonna be good for them. So like, and just getting used to like the whole time change again, because like my younger son, he's like sleeping like during the day and then he's up at night, and it's really been a really hard transition. So he's 13 and he's having a hard time, and it's just going to be just this different like time. Like I don't feel for teachers right now because it's got to be really hard to, it's hard for the students, it's hard for the teachers, it's hard for the parents, because like what do you do as a parent to make sure that your kids are like really doing like their Zoom classes? Are they really connected? And it's like, as a teacher, you want to focus on your like lesson that you have for that day. And so how do you focus on your lesson at the same time make sure that the kids are actually watching and they're engaged, and they like it's going to be a real challenge, and I'm feeling like really nervous about the whole thing.
Because it's teaching them also how to interact online, so things like, okay, show your face. Like this, what we're doing right now can be challenging for some students because they're used to having the video off, not showing themselves. Also the filters on a lot of different social media platforms. They're so used to seeing themselves with the filter that when they don't see themselves with the filter, they say things like, oh, I'm not pretty, or I don't think I'm cute. So it's like a lot. There's a lot. It's a lot there.
There definitely is a lot. And as a parent, I'm super worried. So
the sleep pattern for me too, I'm like, I need to start going to bed. Usually my bedtime is 10 o'clock. I need to start reinforcing that because I have to wake up, to be on class.
yeah, definitely. Well, can we bring out Christina as well? Because I know that her kids started school yesterday, so I want to definitely hear about that. Yeah, like it's like so like my kids are used to starting school in the summer too. And but so yeah, so she'll be coming on in a little bit. So, but yeah, like for kids that are starting school right now, it's so hard for them. But yeah. Oh, hey Christina, how are you? Good morning. Oh. Boy, we are having all kinds of technical issues. I think that it is Friday and like Zoom is just tired in general today.
It happens.
Yeah, it's definitely. I
live
think that
TV, guys. This is live. This is what really happens.
Yeah, definitely. So, okay, so let's see. So as a teacher, so any other like things you want to talk about as like from the teacher perspective?
I think this really just making sure I'm connecting with my families. First connecting with my colleagues, so because we're each other's support system in this to make sure we're good. So really grateful for a solid relationship with my co-teacher, so we can plan. Already got in touch with a couple students, reaching out about their reading, and so they're excited to hear from us and talk with us. Just want to check in with my families to see who needs what, like kind of get the backstory so that coming into school we have kind of know what's going on, where people are coming from. Um, you know.
So what are they doing out in New York to make sure that kids have internet? Like, are they providing the internet to all the kids? Like, how is that working?
So we did a survey at my school. We did a survey towards the end of the year and then over the summer just to see who has what. And for the most part, everyone's okay in terms of technology and having Wi-Fi. I know sometimes students go to special areas like the local McDonald's or something. I don't know that the school is doing, and like the school itself is doing anything to make sure that they have. Plus, kids will be coming into the building. So when they come in, they'll have Wi-Fi. So,
Oh, so your schools are not going to be 100% remote? They're going to be going into the buildings?
well, we're not sure yet because we just had a big meeting with our union rep, our union president, Michael Mulgrew, and Randy Weingarten, the president of the American Federation of Teachers, just basically echoing a lot of the same things we're saying here, and parents are saying that there has to be a measure of safety. And until we don't want like photo op safety where we see you bringing in the baskets of hand sanitizer and stuff. Like every school has to have that. Every school needs a nurse. Like these are just bare minimum things, and if we don't have that, perhaps it's time to talk about striking or other things. So that was a big broadcast here on ABC News Live that took
Oh,
place on Wednesday.
oh,
So
wow.
everything that I'm saying is still like, or in terms of plans, it's still tentative. You
That's
know,
terrible. So it doesn't give parents enough time to really plan because we're all just up in the air and like, what are you supposed to do? You need to make sure that you can still provide for your family. So what does that leave? That kind of leaves parents like in the lurch.
it does.
Welcome, Christina. How are you?
Welcome. Hello, hello, America from sunny California. I'm doing good. I don't know what happened. I got kicked out and brought back in, so I'm
Well,
glad.
welcome back. I'm so excited to have you as well. So I know your students actually started yesterday, right, in school?
Well, one did. And so there's 3 different start dates, and my kids are homeschooled through a public charter school. And so my grandson starts on the 28th. My daughter started a high school program, and so she started yesterday, and there was lots of orientations, different things, because they're using various platforms that were not always used before, to make sure that the kids are able to have what they need. And so that was a busy day yesterday.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And then my son, he, today is his focused, I'll call it that, focused on one thing day.
That's awesome. So what are they doing out in California, like to make sure all the students have like internet connection? Is it very per district, or how's that
Yes.
working?
I talked to some people out of San Diego, parents and stuff that I support there, and really trying to push the internet company to provide more accessible, bandwidth, just different things like that. Having those hotspots is one thing, but really being able to utilize them is another thing. There's parents all over that are still, and you hear my birds. I told you I got to do it for the birds episode, because if I don't take them out in the morning, they talk over me while I'm talking. And so
Oh, I love it. Hey, they got something to say too.
they want internet access too, the birds, you know what I mean? Like, hey, let's listen to some other birds chirping. But you know, it's a multi layers. There's multiple layers to it. Some people do have access to the internet and they subscribe to service, but it's just not enough. Like I am in more inland Palm Springs area, and I have 500 Mbps's. Okay. I have a mobile hotspot through Verizon, and I have a router extender device and still have problems, right? And so just looking at ways that we could really continue to push the companies like Spectrum, Comcast, find out what more can be offered to families. What's that going to look like beyond that $10, you know, general offering that they have? Some parents were saying, I can't even pay the $10 a month. Well, they would utilize that money for food, you know. I mean, there's just a lot of needs. Trying to meet them one by one, you know. For this past week, really just feeling like me supporting families and parents. I was in the emergency room, you know, urgent care, you know, just trying to get them what they needed in a timely manner. So we're still facing some challenges, but you know, really trying to help the best that I can. And then at the same time, yes, my kids are ready to go.
Yeah, I'm just concerned. Like my kid's school, like like called me yesterday and was telling me about like what the schedule is going to look like, and I was asking questions about attendance because I know like if the kid is supposed to be logged in at 9 o'clock, like what's the time frame that they usually there's like a cutoff time. Like if your class is at 9, do you have 5 minutes? How many minutes do you have until you're late? Like how is the whole attendance thing going to work? And like what happens like if I have 3 kids that are on 3 different Zooms at the same time, and then I'm also working from home and then also am on another Zoom, like that could crash the internet. So if you have kids that are like logged in and then they get you know, like bounced out, like will they be able to log back in? Or are you going to stop kids from logging in after a certain time? And he was like, oh, I don't know the answer to that. So like they're still trying to figure it out. But these are like real things that are going to happen.
Right. And, you know, we have to be willing to just look at this from the perspective of what is the child's learning style. Just because kids like playing games on the internet doesn't mean that they can necessarily learn all day via Zoom. You know, that doesn't mean that they have the propensity to want to be on and in class. I've had educators who have basically told me like, you know, my roster is for 50 students and 20 showed up. Well, we don't know what those other 30 are experiencing, and so we can't make assumptions. We have to be willing to say, let's try to figure out what they need and give them what they need so that they thrive, whatever that may look like. I had a whole district of parents saying, you know what, it's the 3rd day, just give us packets. We do not want to do this. I have 3 kids in the house. This isn't working out. Logging in, sometimes the password's not working, and we just don't have the time to spend trying to figure out these technical logistical issues while also educating other children in the house. And so looking at it from that lens, we really are going to have to push as parents to get each child what they need.
Yeah. And then like I have a kid, like 2 of my kids have special needs. So like, do I advocate as the parent to make sure that they have extra accommodations so that they are able to log in later? Or like what does that look like? What does like special needs services look like when during this time? Like what is like how is that going to be? Like I just want to make sure that my kids are getting everything that they're supposed to be getting. And I don't even think like how do I adjust that? Because like what they were getting before this pandemic is different. I feel like they need different things now. So as a parent, like what do I do?
Right. And so, you know, I did actually have this issue with one student in high school IEP, and then another high school student with a 504 yesterday. And so really what needs to take place is maybe asking for an addendum meeting to really talk through how are we planning on meeting these goals on the IEP. right? How are we planning to meet them from a distance? Depending on the services that need to be provided, how are schools going to be providing those services? Are they going to be contracting that out, whether it's OT, whether it's speech pathology, whatever that may be that the student needs? You really want to ask goal by goal what is going to be offered as far as the services support, because you want your child to meet their goal. With regards to accommodations, are teachers and educators going to be permitting more time, right? Not just to be online, or some students are late for emotional reasons. Some students have high anxiety even when they were in school, and their 504 is to accommodate those anxieties, right? So what is it going to look like now if they don't want to be online, if they don't want to show their face? What are those accommodations going to look like? Are they going to be able to have a extended deadline to be able to turn in all their assignments? So each parent really with a 504 or IEP needs to be requesting an urgent addendum meeting so that you can go in and make sure that your child has everything that they need to thrive. And that's just basically what it's going to look like. And it's going to vary child by child, but that's the purpose of having an individualized education plan, right? An IEP. And the 504 is meant to accommodate and protect students with disabilities. So that's the purpose of that again. So please, you and other parents utilize the processes within the 504 and the IEP to make sure that your child has everything, whether it's an extra device, a tutor, whatever that may be. Make sure you get those things early on.
That's great advice. Yeah, definitely. I'm definitely going to do that because I had a meeting for my son at the end of like the pandemic, right? Or I mean at the end of the school year, and they sent me his IEP, but I haven't signed it yet. And they keep sending me these notifications, sign the IEP, sign it. No, I'm not signing it yet. He called me yesterday like, "Well, how come you haven't signed?" Well, I'm not going to sign until I make sure that, he has everything he needs, and nobody really knows what that is yet. So how am I going to sign this? I'm not signing it. So,
And you know, parents, you have the right to not sign. You also have the right to write on the end of the IEP, I do not believe that this IEP plan offers my child a free appropriate education, right? Let's go back to the drawing board. I'm not going to sign this until I believe that my child is being offered the services and supports that they need. So your power within that IEP protocols and procedures is really there. And if you don't know what FAPE is or IDEA, the federal laws pertaining to IEPs, definitely do some research and look that up so you can know your rights. And never sign anything that you do not agree on, even if they call you every day. Are you going to sign? No, I'm not. Just put a hard no. I'm not going to sign. And we've had this conversation about IEP meetings and me in those meetings really having to do combat like war, so.
actually, yes. So what do you think, Vivette, about the whole thing? Like, some of your students also have IEPs, and how do you deal with that?
Absolutely. I think for districts, for parents who are living in districts that are offering in school, that students who have specific learning needs may need to be the ones who go into the school building, because one of the things we learned from being remote when we were thrusted into it from March until June was that translating those services online can be challenging. For some students, it does work, but for other students, it doesn't work. So, parents, I would advise you to, and I'm not a special educator, but I do sit in IEP meetings as a general educator. Document, document, document. It is a living document. Put into the document, this meeting took place during coronavirus pandemic 2020. Services not available. Have it all in there. And also what is available, and request to meet more regularly. If something was implemented, you can sign contingent upon blah, 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 blah. Requesting revisit. in 2 months, or or make the goals that the student has to have measurable to align with the next semester. You know, that is still a long-term goal. You can put so that it has to be revisited at the end of that semester, and just kind of see and constantly tweak it. But don't feel pressure to say, well, I have to sign it, because there's a monetary piece tied to that pressuring as well. You know, so I'm saying to all adults, the children need us to advocate for them, whatever your position is. They are not able to advocate for themselves. That's just the nature of being a child. They rely on the adults in their lives to help them. So help them.
Definitely. Yeah.
And if you're not sure, then join with the National Parents Union, because you have a network of people, organizations from across the United States who can help you if you're not sure what to do or what to say. But don't sign it and then call, because you know, like, it's more of a problem then, you know.
Yeah. So
Absolutely.
I know both of you are on the National Parents Union Advisory Council, and you sit on different committees. Or if you want to tell the viewers about what your committees are up to, who wants to start?
You can go ahead.
Okay. So how about Christina? So which committee are you on, and what's going on with your committee?
So I'm on the policy committee, and I'm also on the education committee. And so currently in the policy committee, looking at ways that we as a parent-led union can push for a high quality education, a right to a high quality education. And what is that going to look like? And who delineates that quality, right? Because, you know, sometimes you hear these words about quality, equitable, but you find those words to be least furthest from the truth of what's actually happening. And so we're really, really, really looking at how we can first of all, ensure that our children and the children that we represent across the nation have access to a high quality, equal and equitable education, you know, wherever there may be. I am looking at it from a sense of urgency, because our kids can't wait, you know, and so talking about that sense of urgency, what can we do today, and then what can we do longevity wise, right, looking towards the future, how they're going to continue to thrive, what accountability measures can be placed and to ensure that the authentic parent voice is at the table, to make sure that our voices are leading and informing decision making processes, leading and informing, you know, financial and fiscal impact, budgetary processes, because, you know, no other group has to ask to be a part of a committee, right, to be a part of that table. If you look at in the education space, it's automatically assumed that certain people are going to have a role. Parents are still asking for permission to have a role, and we are the key stakeholders. And so how do we shift that, especially during this time of radical transformative change, when you see this pandemic and things have to be quickly innovated and created? We want to make sure that out of that, we are injected into that process, and we continue to maintain in that process. And that's pretty much what we also work on in the education committee. You know, really what we one of our first projects was getting that family bill of rights. If you guys have not seen that family bill of rights, and we polled parents across the nation, find out what it was that they thought was safe enough to send their kids back to school, and what we took the CDC measurements and all of these other tools that we utilize to create that family bill of rights. And so I do admonish everybody and just suggest that you check that out. This situation is constantly evolving, so you really, really, really need to be working with people that are flexible. I have to say this really quick. parents, when you go into your IEP and 504 meetings, consider taking a guest with you, someone in your family, someone that you trust, maybe a strong neighbor that you have a relationship with. Allow them to be in that meeting. And I will tell you why. Because some of the things that are brought up can make you highly emotional, right? And you're making decisions off of some emotions that you may feel about what they're saying about your child, about what they're granting for your child or denying for your child. And so that person that you take with you can really help to balance you. And also just, you don't want to enter into meetings like that alone, because it'll be you facing 8 to 10, 12 people, right? And you can easily get intimidated, easily get emotional, and you just want to really make an informed decision. So that's what I have to say about that.
That's great advice. And then it's interesting because they say that you have a right to bring an advocate with you, but at the same time, when you go to call the number to get an advocate, you find out that it costs $3,000, and that's not
Right.
that you can't. Who can afford that, right? And if you don't have that money, then what do you have, right? It's like
Right.
so deceiving. So yeah, I definitely feel like if you bring just a support person there with you, that's great advice, because they can. You don't feel alone. Like they have this whole team of people. It's like someone from this and someone from that. It's like all these people here to tell you about your kid, but then you're just sitting there and you just like got to take it all in, like when they're saying all this stuff. And it's like, to have that person there with you, definitely that support
Yes.
person is great. Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
We're in the same committees. Christina and I, the policy committee and the education committee. So she gave a great summary of what we're doing in both of those spaces, but really pushing beyond just making changes on the local level, but making changes on the state and most importantly on the federal level as well, to have laws change, because if not, we'll constantly be hitting our heads against brick walls. When you have laws on the federal level that set a precedence for other municipalities to follow, it really does help a lot. And so that's what we're looking for, to have it written in language that anyone can access, that parents can read it, can reference it, can know it, and take that as something to arm them when they go to advocate for their child. It's very important, because what we're hearing a lot, and Christina, I know you can back me up on this, is parents feel a certain measure of trepidation. They're scared. They might, for whatever reason, whether it's their citizenship status, whether it's a language barrier, whether it's not being made to feel comfortable in their child's school environment, whether it's their own poor experience that they had in the school that causes them to have some fear, whatever the reasons are, parents are constantly saying they need more support. And so, from the teacher angle, I'm blessed to be a parent and also to be a teacher. It does help me to step back and put myself in the shoes of that parent at that moment, because I do think that we need to work together more, that home and school should not be adversaries. We should be working towards the same goal. Our goal is the children. Like, we need to refocus as part of that reimagination and reopening. We need to rethink the relationship between home and school. What are your thoughts about the children and the families that you work for? What are your thoughts towards them? And if they're not really healthy thoughts, then that needs to change. If you're bringing racist views with you into the classroom, you need to reevaluate that. Seriously, it requires some work, you know, and parents and schools need to work more together. Even if a parent chooses to homeschool their child, stay with remote learning, there needs to be conversation with the school, and the school needs to value what parents are bringing to the table, because they do come with their own set of expertise and skills. I learn a lot when I sit and I listen to parents, and they also can learn to respect me when I'm telling them things about their child that they can say, oh, she does know her, or she does know him. She has taken the time to get to know them, not just, well, their scores on their last ELA exam were like, okay, that has its place, but I don't think that's the place to start off a relationship or a conversation with, especially as I think about the new year starting off. What information do I want to get from my families, and what do I want them to know about me? Because it's a relationship.
Yeah, definitely. So like my kids go to KIPP in Massachusetts, and we used to wear these sweaters in the back. It says it takes a village. So it takes a village. And then it's funny because we like walk around town and you see another parent wearing the same sweater. You're like, hey, like we're all part of this team. Like parents have power, and all they need to do is recognize that they have this power. Like once they know they have power, like we're unstoppable. These are our babies. We know what's best for our kids, and all we need to do is get together and form that team and work with the teachers, because I definitely believe it needs to be a contract. It needs to be a team effort between the parent, the teacher, and the student. The students have to buy in, because if they're not buying in, why would they do it? They're not going to do it, right? They need to be part of this team. They need to be part of these conversations. This is what I want my day to look like. And like, let's figure it out so that it works for everybody.
I was speaking with a friend recently about the district that her children go to here on Long Island, which looks very differently than schools in the five boroughs, the city, just even different ways that children commute to schools on Long Island. They have their bus routes that they take, the yellow school bus, or families drop them off to school. But she was saying how pleased she is with the rollout of the plan, and how pleased she is with the community effort. She says, for the most part, like, people mind their business, everyone's like doing their own thing. But when it comes to the kids, like at the end of last school year, it came to their attention like a lot of kids aren't logging on. And so, as a community, they called for a meeting for the school, right? Parent led, like, what's going on? Came to find out a lot of kids were suffering with depression. The school responded and created like a safe space for the kids to log on to deal with their SEL needs. But that was driven by community and addressing the needs of the kids, and the school coming in, working alongside in tandem with the community to say, all right, this is what we can do to help. And then they started seeing an increase in logging on and increase in the academic part, because their social emotional needs were being attended to. That's what was going on. The kids they're dealing with a pandemic too. And hello.
Yeah, there's so many kids. They need definitely some mental health, like support groups, like something out there. Like they need a lot of support. I think parents need the support too. Like we need to all like make sure that we're taking care of ourselves. We need to make sure we're doing self-care, even if it's just a little walk in the morning. Like just make sure you're taking care of yourself, because it's a lot to sit through Zoom meeting after Zoom meeting after Zoom meeting. It takes a lot. And just make sure you're drinking water and you're just taking care of yourself, because if we don't take care of ourselves, like who's going to take care of our babies? So that's it. Self-care is so important. So, and the National Parents Union is amazing because it's parent-led, and it's like if you're out there and you're watching this and you're looking for like a group to join, this is the one I would suggest that you join, and you can become part of our family, because I feel like since I joined that I've like gained like all these like moms and dads and people that I can reach out to when I'm having an issue, or like, bouncing ideas off each other. Like join that family, because that's what it's all about. And together we can like really make a difference in this world.
Absolutely.
True, that's true.
Yeah.
That's true. And I just want to encourage parents to continue to speak up, to continue to voice your needs and concerns, and to continue just to be intentional and unrelenting and consistent in your battle for your child's education. Our children do not get a K through 12 redo. I had some very distressing information about some seniors, up their seniors this year that were reading at second and third grade levels.
Oh,
Um,
God.
and parents were just astounded at, what was pegged as a behavior problem because they're not doing their work, right? Well, come to find out, one of these children were dyslexic. Nobody ever caught it, right? And to me, it's like, if you see that your child is struggling, don't automatically assume it's the laziness or some type of behavior. It could really be a learning disability, right? Like dyslexia. How are people able to process information? My grandson has a cognitive auditory processing deficit, right? What he hears has a different pathway by which it processes, and the way that he externalizes what he hears. And on top of that, he's autistic. You know, is not going to be in the time that you would think it is. There's times where he has information, but it takes him a week to retrieve and really externalize and try to explain and put that into words. And so I couldn't allow people to treat him like he was just disruptive or disobedient or defiant, or not paying attention. Well, no, we know that kids with ADHD, their problem is not that they can't pay attention to one thing, is that they're paying attention to everything, right? And so teaching and training the child to focus on one thing and get that one thing well, and then allow them to have a break and move into another thing, right? And just tell them, we're going to focus on one thing. If your child has ADHD, tell them, we're going to focus on one thing, because they have to practice and exercise that skill of focusing on one thing. If your child has a processing deficit, be patient. If you don't know if your child has maybe dyslexia or some type of processing issue, ask for that particular type of testing. It's called a cognitive auditory processing deficit test. From that particular CAPD, you can find out if there's a different type of processing. Maybe it's visual, right? Maybe it might not be auditory, but that one will eliminate and give you the information that you need. If you believe that your child is suffering from dyslexia, ask, are there assessments or something that I can get? And if you have to push for an IEE, then you need to do that. Don't let your child just be pushed through grade after grade after grade, assuming that they're okay, because now at 12th grade, you're thinking, what are they going to do to become contributing members of society, and how are they going to support themselves, right? And they need rigorous and intensive interventions at this point to be able to learn how to read. So I just want to really just welcome parents to continue to push, continue to speak up, continue to be intentional and consistent and unrelenting. You can reach out to me for any questions, or anyone else here. Always here to help. Yes, join, welcome to the family. If you did recently join, we're all here to support each other collectively.
Wow, I just can't believe that you said that they're rising 12th graders reading at a second grade level.
75% of those are Black boys.
That's terrible. Wow, it's just every year they just was kick the kid down, the next teacher can deal with it. We'll just kick it down wow, that's a shame.
And
That
what the number correlates to is they're being prepped for prison and not for
Yes.
college.
Oh my God.
If you cannot read, if you are not reading on grade level, by the third grade, they use those numbers to project how many prison cells they will have to build.
Oh my God, that's terrible.
Up, I'll say this till I'm blue in the face, because these stats are out there and they're real. And this misalignment of education, this miseducation is intentional. It's
Right.
not by accident. And it's not happening to everybody. It's happening to Black and brown children. Their bodies are filling the prisons. And there's a direct correlation between their inability to get a high quality education, what we're fighting for, and them ending up in prison. Low performance in school, higher chance of going to prison. higher performance in school, lesser chance of going to prison. But prison is a big money maker.
Prison industrial complex.
The prison industrial complex, it's a big money maker. And
Oh,
so
no. That's
there are
terrible.
so
They
many
can't have our babies.
that's a whole nother story. You could
Right?
have not there talking about, because that's a whole and I don't know
Oh,
how
no.
parents know to really start connecting these dots. You got to get your kids reading. That's why if you're home, if you're keeping them home for their health, go for it. Make sure they're reading. If that's all you can make sure they're doing, make sure they're reading and on grade level. They can't stay with Diary of a Wimpy Kid forever. That can't be it. They have to elevate from there. And there are exam tests you can give them as the parent, just diagnostics. So you can have a sense of where they are. You don't have to be a trained literacy specialist to do this. It takes some time with your child, getting a sense of your child, because you know your child.
Right.
You know if they like to read, they don't like to read. You know if they're up all night playing video games. Start to deal with the reality and addressing it. Join MPU because we can help you.
And we care.
And we care. Like, we're not just here like, we're concerned. You know, the fake concern talk that I can't stand. No, don't. If your concern is not coming with any action behind it, keep your concern, please and thank you.
Oh, you're talking about the meetings to set up other meetings.
Kind of,
okay. Yeah,
so
I don't sit in those meetings, right?
that word is a trigger for me. When I hear that so concerned and that body language, I start getting like twitching because
yeah, I got a story about that, but I don't know if we got time. And boy, oh boy, I mean, you know, the tears and everything else. I think I was telling you, Natasha, this story just yesterday. So, you know, I would love to share it, but I think we're out of time.
Yeah, we definitely are out of time, but yeah, we're definitely going to hear that story soon because that's a story to share. Yeah. So I thank both of you for coming on the show today and for sharing your knowledge, because you're both amazing and I really do appreciate it. And I know that we've had some technical difficulties today with Tim and Kerry. So please join us again for Monday, same time. And do you guys have any last words?
I do. You know, don't fight against your advocates because we fight for you, right? I trust that we have you and your child's best interest at heart. Sometimes parents don't understand the information that you're really trying to quickly download to them to fight. And so they approach it with a little bit of hindrance because their norm is used to hearing something else, right? And what happens is that typically I see parents come back 6 months to a year later, like, oh, you were right. Well, now I'm a little bit concerned that your child is at a 6 month to a year deficit because you didn't understand the information that advocates were trying to give you before. So really just learn how to push past the discomfort of what you may be being told, but it is true. And then, you know, just continue to exercise that, right? I always say the breaking point is the breakthrough point. And I am uncomfortable in a lot of situations, but I end up recognizing that I had to be uncomfortable and everyone else in that space needed to be too, because what we were dealing with was not comfortable at all. So just, you know, embrace that. Families, thank you, who are a support network, grandmas, grandpas, abuelas, abuelos, tias and tios, cousins, whoever you may be, continue to just help hold the family together. You're the glue that hold the family together, and then go check on your neighbor. Okay. And so that's what I have to say. Have a wonderful weekend.
I love it. Anything for you, Vivette?
Oh, no.
Or say bye to everyone. All right. Bye, everybody. Thank you for joining us. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.